What's happening, my flying freaky friends? Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about first-time mountain flights, the flight plan, the landing approach. We're going from Eliminator, Skyport to Parma Park. So stay tuned for some details on that. It's another edition of Cracker Sauce brought to you by the Cracker. All right, down to business. We're up here on the mountain now at the Eliminator Skyport launch. Eliminator, the hang glider launch. Skyport's the paraglider launch. It's the same place off Gibraltar Road. Out of towners, if you're using this to figure out the flight plan, that's all great, but you still need to contact a local when you come. We got to open the airspace and just keep you informed on any other things going on in the area. So please contact a local and check it out. First timers, you're going to be with the instructor, so pay attention to what they're doing. This is just for a reference of the flight path and the approaches to Parma Park. So we got the ocean north-south. We're facing south. The west is to our right. The east is to our left, just so you know. We'll zoom in here on the Skyport launch. There's already a hang glider set up on the hang glider one. This spine right here, right to the left, this is the house thermal. I've seen plenty of beginners climb out of here. So you're going to pull up in a nice cycle or huck off the ramp, hang a left, and you're going to figure eight right in this zone right here. Don't come anywhere past the paraglider launch because it's pretty pointless to try to soar over here, as it rarely works. You're on this spine right here, figure eight, and maybe you get up, maybe you won't. But if you start to drop below the paraglider launch, it's time to go. So your flight path is going to be straight out towards the roundhouse. This is the roundhouse right out here. And so you're basically making a straight line. Maybe you could curve it just a little bit towards the roundhouse. There are power lines in this canyon, so that's your first objective to cross. You can see the power line towers. I usually try to glide over those towers if you're high. If not, you got to go to the right of them because that's where the power lines dip. But you're more than less going straight path towards the roundhouse. Once you get towards the, let's talk about the snake pit real quick. So if you don't clear these power lines, you're going to be behind this zone, and snake pit will be your landing zone. You could try to work the terrain behind here. More than likely, this would be a better option to work, this spine. Some people call it Doc's finger because it's been heating up it's east facing. It's been heating up all morning long, so you have a better chance of climbing out of here, maybe up to the double R to your right and reconnecting. If not, you got the snake pit landing zone right here. It's a little bigger than it looks because it's cut off by these trees. But if you zoom in down in here, you're always going to land uphill. You don't want to try to land downhill. There isn't going to be any wind down there. There's too many trees. It doesn't matter. You're going uphill. It falls off pretty good downhill. You'll probably end up in these trees if you try to land that way. So you set up your approach on these trees, not too deep over them because it could be sinky and you may end up in the trees. But right when you dip below them, you're carving in here and making an approach uphill into this landing zone. There's plenty of bushes up against the spine to put it into. It's all good. It's a beautiful hike down the canyon, about a mile or so, out to the St. Mary's area. Or if you feel ambitious, you can hike back up this trail, which connects with Gibraltar Road again, and up to launch and relaunch. Albatross, a local here in town, on two big days I remember. He landed down here, 2 different days. Early on, bombed out, got behind the power lines. Very good pilot, but he landed down here, hiked back up, relaunched, and flew to Ojai both days. So it's possible. Always keep that in mind. Everything is possible. So anyways, you're gliding out to the roundhouse. You're having a good time. Your hands up. You're being efficient. You're looking around. It's a beautiful day. Oh, first mountain flight. Exciting, exciting, exciting. So you're cruising straight out to the roundhouse. Now the roundhouse, we do have roundhouse rules. You got to stay 500 feet clear of it in all directions. So unless you're stinking high coming above it, just go to the right more. Because you want to intersect the spine, get on the south side of this spine to try to work some lift. So you're more than likely coming around this thermal marker here. Unless you're high, you come over the roundhouse. Otherwise, this zone here, you're going to follow this path, this spine, down towards the Monastery Ridge. And this area right here is called the Monastery Ridge. Let's draw it. So all this zone right in here, Monastery Ridge. Often a pretty buoyant place, just because the west wind comes up this side and the east wind scoops up this side. So this could keep you in the game a long time. If you're only a couple hundred feet above this, then if you are a couple hundred feet above this, you have Parma made. It looks flat, but it's actually about your glide ratio down to Parma Park. So if you have 200 feet here, you'll make it to Parma no problem. If not, you have the St. Mary's landing zone. Technically, we're not allowed to land here anymore, so if you're landing here, you are making an emergency landing. Please pack up your stuff quickly, walk to the road, and apologize if anybody comes across your way. So let's check out the St. Mary's approach real quick. We'll zoom on into there. So St. Mary's, this is a road here with power lines and cars. You don't want to overshoot to that zone. So this is the, let's get our green arrows out again. This is the sweet spot to land in, all in here. After this, it kind of falls downhill to the road. So you're setting up on these tree lines, maybe figure eighting in here. You don't want to get behind the trees. They're very tall. You could get stuck in them. And then you'll kind of fish your way up this little road and cruise up in here, bleeding off your altitude, and land. If you're overshooting, go uphill this way. And the uphill will eat up your altitude. Don't fall off downhill towards the power lines. Bad news. So you want to just go uphill, nice easy land. You got a 20 to 30 minute walk back to Parma if you want to walk, if somebody can't get you. Piece of cake, big easy landing zone. But remember, that is an emergency landing, and be nice and apologize to anybody who you cross, and try to get out of there quickly and pack up on this road. Otherwise, if you're cruising to Parma, you are heading this way, down this ridge, all the way to these power lines. This is the north end of the upper Parma landing area. So you just have a nice easy glide. Sometimes it's pretty lifty over these palm trees, over these power lines. Relax, hang out, enjoy it. Let's zoom in over here. We'll check out the approach. So Parma Park, the typical approach for Parma Park, the wind is usually southwest, south, southeast, some way in here. So the approach usually set up over these trees and power lines. There's power lines right here. So you're figure eighting right in front of right over the power lines, right in front of them, right in front of these trees. And as soon as you drop right below those power lines, then it's time to start making your approach. And so you kind of zigzag in here to bleed off any more altitude, kind of S around. The sweet spot you want to land is anywhere in this zone. So that's why this works so nicely with any wind direction, because you could just kind of bleed off into this any which way. Up that way, and you have lots of room to play with. It does start falling off downhill in this zone. So this is called our breakdown tree. If you are approaching this tree and you're very high, just hang a left, go over here, and reset up for lower Parma. Doesn't do you any good trying to force it up here. There's rocks and trees to land in. No fun. So if you're super high and you're close to the breakdown tree, hang a left, go over lower Parma, and reset up. There is a barbed wire fence here to be aware of. You can land over here if you need to, but I don't recommend it. It's private property. But it's fine to set up your approach and cruise up over in this zone if you want to. If you are setting up and there's west wind, which is this one, don't get behind this tree line, because this canyon is really sinking and people would try to force it, end up in these trees. So if you do get caught behind this tree line, it's no big deal. Just land down here or in lower Parma. It's all good. One more thing, the hang gliders only get one shot at landing at upper Parma. So be aware of their flight path. And their flight path is, they kind of do a downwind, a base, and a final. And that's it. So if you're messing around, you have west wind, and you're trying to mess around in here to do a hang glider approach, and you see a hang glider, get out of their way. Either come back over here and do the SC thing into this part, or go to lower Parma. But just stay out of their way, because they only get one shot at it. Once they're setting up and they're on final, that's it. So we want to make sure we're plenty clear of them. Lower Parma. You could see from lowers, there's this trail that goes all the way up here. So that is pretty much your flight path for a hang glider approach and a paraglider approach to land into uppers. It goes steeply uphill, eats up your altitude, and it makes it pretty easy to land up here. This is for a hang glider. The breakdown tree is everything. This is your reference for everything. So you're bleeding off your altitude up here on a hang glider until you get maybe 200 feet above this tree. Now you're starting to set up your approach. So you're going to kind of have, we'll call it your downwind, your base, and your final right up this path. And what I like to do is when I'm even with this tree out here somewhere, that's when I turn in for my final, because I know I'm not going to overshoot it. So you're going to pull in for as much speed as you can, and come up this tree. So if I'm right in here and I'm starting to look like, oh, I'm even with the tree, then I start pulling in and diving in this way. If I'm super high above that tree, then I extend it out more, and then I pull in and come in this way. This kind of falls off downhill, this path, so don't turn this way. If you think you're high, just keep going up this hill. The uphill will eat your altitude up. Same with the paraglider. So all this is all good to land. All this is all good to land. Don't force it and end up in these trees. Piece of cake. Land. Flare. Pack your stuff up. Have a beer. Enjoy your day. You did great. Nicely done. We're going to give a shout out to all the people and organizations that make free flight possible here in Santa Barbara and our surrounding areas. First off, we got Eagle Paragliding, which is eagleparagliding.com, one of the 2 paragliding schools in town. They will take you from zero to hero, baby. From the bunny hill to the mountains to all over the world. They got tours all over the place. They got SIV clinics going on with a boat and a lake. So hit up eagleparagliding.com. Arctic 4 is what I fly. It's the only glider I fly. I love it. I use it for everything. Niviec.com. Safest glider on the planet. Smash that bar and you're going places. Smoking those Enzos. Ha! Badass glider. I'm surfing the train all the time here in Santa Barbara. Never take a collapse, never a wingtip. I could launch this thing in technical conditions. I could fly it on the ridges and the training hill, hike with it. It's amazing. Get one. Fly Above All, our other paragliding school in town. You'll see them up at the VOR doing some tandems at the ridges, hanging out, supporting the local community. We got, and they are flyaboveall.com. Flyawayhanggliding.com. Willie, awesome hang glider instructor, ripper pilot, doing his thing here in town. Tandems all over the place. Call me if you want to learn how to hang glide. We got miniplaneusa.com. This is Chad Bastian's company. If you want to learn how to motor, take a lesson with Chad. Super fun. If you want to learn how to thermal too, watch this guy. He's at the hill every day for the last 20 years. Amazing technique. It's like an art form watching him thermal. Watch the way he moves his hands, the way he shifts his weight. You get a lesson all in itself just watching him. And then we have our Santa Barbara Soaring Association page, sbsa.info. You can see the chat box on here when people are talking about flying. The Twitters replicate on here from the 2 paragliding schools of when they're meeting and where the flying's happening. We also have a visiting pilots page. Santa Barbara Soaring Association keeps our sites flyable, our sites insured. Our wind talkers talking, so we definitely want to contribute to them. Definitely hit up a local before you come flying or one of the paragliding schools. All the contacts are on the visitings page, and you have to be a member to fly our sites. So we have a little donate here. You can donate and do it right online and be all set for when you come fly. So welcome to paradise.